Good morning, y'all. Thank you for coming. This is Coffee and Convo Live. I am your host, Mary Ann Pack, and your spiritual guide. And today I have a special guest for us, my friend and colleague, Sandy Tomey. Welcome, Sandy. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, welcome and hello, Marianne. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I am so glad you're here because today we're going to talk about how to manifest your spiritual partnership. So this is going to be a yummy discussion, and I'm so looking forward to it. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Remember, you can ask questions or make comments, and I will try to be mindful of watching for those. We are live in Facebook and YouTube, so you can find us either place. I just want us to set our intention to receive loving relationships and to be the person who gives loving relationships, who is that person who has grown and allowed herself or himself to be that expression of joy of who we really are and that love of who we really are. So be mindful of that. Set that as your intention for today as we go through this show, because that's what we're going to talk about, and that's what we need to be mindful of. So I met Sandy through a year-long coaching program, and we have just enjoyed being in each other's company. And come to find out, she lives just not just a short distance from where I grew up, out in St. Louis County, in West St. Louis County. And so when I met her and found out she lived in Wildwood, and I had lived and was raised in Ellisville, little towns, but they're all grown up now. And so she's just right there. So whenever I get to go back home, I'm going to go visit with Sandy. So that's always fun to meet people and collaborate with people and find spiritual partnerships, because it expands that energy of love so much further around this globe. So she's
synchronicities and soul alignments, Marianne. That's such a great example of that. You know, those energetic frequencies resonating with each other. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just like there's times when you just click with a person.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes.
It's that soul alignment that we get, and we just know. It's like you've been friends forever and you just met.
Yes.
So I'm going to just look and share Sandy's bio with you real quick. Sandy Tomey is the founder of Sacred Love Journeys. It's a coaching and retreat company that specializes in helping women heal their heart and reconnect to their passion and purpose, so they can create the life they love with the love of their life by their side. She's a certified relationship coach for singles and couples, and with over 10 years of experience in empowering women to be their own love luminary and manifest true and lasting love in their relationships. So her courses help to transform singles' lives into fulfilling and thriving partnerships. She leads transformational and inspirational retreats in Costa Rica, Florida, Sedona, and along the peaceful Osage River in Missouri. I love the Ozarks. I love that area, Sandy. I'm so glad you have retreats there. She has her certification through International Coach Federation, and she is also on the leadership team for St. Louis there. So we know this about Sandy, but who is Sandy Tomey?
Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, that's all the gobbledygook, right? Yeah. So I am a mom of two amazing children. They are off in the world doing their thing, not here in St. Louis anymore, and probably will never settle back here again. Yes, my son is in college, and my daughter is on her way home. She's an officer in the U.S. Army, and she's spent some time in Afghanistan, and she flies home tomorrow. So I'd love all of the prayers that flight and everything actually should get her back home here. Yeah. So, yeah, so I've enjoyed being a mom. I've been a partner for, many years for, I've had 3 different spiritual partnerships, and a few more if you count some of the dating people in between that have been significant. I'm a daughter and a sister and an aunt to lots of nieces and nephews. And my family is very, very important to me. And, like to consider myself, of course, the coaching thing is such a big thing right now, but really a spiritual director. It's what I like. I always wanted to be a spiritual director. Growing up, in the Catholic Church, and not veering off, but opening more into the wholeness and all of the world religions and energy and consciousness. You just kind of grow, and it feels like you become more. But I've always sought out spiritual direction. I've always been a spiritual seeker and a learner and a grower. And, finally finding my passion just seemed like such a natural fit. Finally took a while, but I did finally find it. Yeah.
Awesome. So today our topic is manifesting your spiritual partnership. So I love that your bio mentions that you lead your clients into fulfilling and thriving partnerships. How do you see those partnerships, affecting all areas of our life? When you come into a spiritual partnership, what benefits is that? How does that work for people?
Yeah. Well, we use the term relationship, but everything in our lives, we are in relationship with absolutely everything in our lives. Every person in our lives, every organization in our lives, every idea in our lives, we have that ongoing relationship to it and with it. And so everything, how we do even one relationship is probably a little bit how we do all relationships. So, I kind of like to break them down into 4 different types of relationships. Your relationship as being the most important, the relationship to yourself, first and foremost, the relationship to your source, divine, God, whatever, that is for you, whatever you call that. Relationships to others, then kind of flowing out of that. And then the relationship to the process. And that's kind of what we oftentimes forget, that there is a process to life and a flow to life. And when we can realize that there's that flow to life and kind of ease into that, as you speak about all the time, Marianne, right? Getting into that, into that state of flow and surrendering, everything becomes a whole lot easier. And, at different times we're more open to, which of those relationships we're working on. But kind of understanding those, I think when I found that out, brought a lot of, just a lot of clarity to my life, that I'm not here all alone and lonely all by myself trying to figure this out on my own.
I think that's really important for us to remember. We're not alone.
Yes.
We have an inner source, our soul, spirit. I usually call it my inner being or my inner source. Yes. So whatever you call that eternal part of you that we have access to at all times, it's not just like this physical brain body, that's just out here on the wrong ragged edge. Right. We have support. We have that other part of us. And that's that relationship. I always talk about that alignment with who we really are, who we really are on the inside.
Yes.
The one who created all of this so that we can be here and walk through this life.
Yes.
So we're
not just our thoughts, we're the observer of our thoughts. And that observer that observes everything is that connection to the divine that is, can just break everything open for us when we can expand our awareness to really get a sense of that.
Absolutely. And these spiritual partnerships, you would agree, I'm sure, that it's not just about like a love match. like a soul partner or something like that, it expands into other spiritual partnerships, like even business or family or friends. What do you say about that, or what do you think about that?
Right. So it's honoring the soul essence of each and every person and where they are on their journey and where you are on your journey. So depending on your personality type, um, you can either, sometimes people find it easier to focus on other people and recognizing that they are unique individuals and they have experiences and stories that are on their, going on, that everybody is doing the best that they can at any given time. Um, Other people find it easier to maybe start with themselves and giving themselves that, we're on that journey. How do I see things? What is my perspective like? What is the story that I tell about the world?
Hmm.
And that's kind of the first place, maybe for some people that's been there, done that years ago, but some people kind of forget. I think that's, that grounding and rooting step, that it has to start within. And then, that relationship is really developing. I have my thoughts and beliefs and stories. Every other person has their thoughts, beliefs, and stories, and their belief about who they are, and really listening deeply and honoring where everybody is and co-creating whatever it is that you want to co-create with that person. And it could be literally different for everything. The relationship that I have with my children, the intention for it is not probably, it's very different than the intention I have for my partner, or for, you, Marianne, as a colleague, different colleagues that, are in our collective spirit with different colleagues here. It all goes back to what is the intention of that, and honoring and seeing each and every person for the bright, brilliant light, love luminary that they are, whether they know it or not, they are.
Right. And I love that. I love that you
Yeah.
call it the light and love luminary. That's just perfect. I want to be one of those glowy persons.
You are, sweetie. You are. You know that.
Um, do you find that some people's partnerships can be a hindrance, like if they're not aligned, or if they don't resonate with that person, but they keep pushing forward? What kind of things have you seen issues with people that are
Yeah,
really not, maybe it's really not a spiritual partnership? It's
right.
more of I'm going to push ahead no matter
Yeah,
what, because I'm lonely, or I want to accomplish this, if it's a business partnership or whatever, but they're really
right.
not aligned.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm gonna go a little off here, but I think all relationships are spiritual partnerships. I think I'm using the term spiritual partnership when it really flows and is aligned. But all of our relationships, even before that, and it's pretty necessary for us to have many. I think I like to give my clients permission to have many of those partnerships. They're learning love, right?
Right.
You're learning about yourself. You're learning about your desires and your needs and your wants. Oftentimes we're learning who we are by our relationships telling us things that don't feel good and aren't what we want deep down. And so, we've got to learn to use our voice and learn to say no, this isn't for me, or that's not okay. Um, those are just as important. They don't feel as good, but they are just as important of a part of the process, part of the sacred journey into leading you into your spiritual partnership, right? So it's when you've learned who you are by all the things that don't feel good, and for those feelings of loneliness, and that leads us to that. Where I like to come in, though, is, when we're doing it on our own, oftentimes it can be like beating our heads against a wall. I've got a lot of clients that I just get that visual of them beating their head against the wall because they're trying to do the same thing, and they're trying to force something to be what they want, but clearly it's just not. And so the answer isn't just to, try to, stay in it and force it. It's standing in your power, owning your power, and letting go what isn't serving you, and stepping in, having the trust that what you really deeply desire, what you've set your intention for, is out there, and surrendering it to the universe and allowing it to come to you. The law of attraction in action.
Right.
And which is what most of my programs are about. Yeah.
Right. No, I like that you mentioned that sometimes these relationships that we find, or someone we're looking at or considering, they're fine tuning.
Yes.
And letting us know what we don't want. So what do we really want?
Yes.
And just spending time with understanding, what do I really want? Taking time to spend with yourself and going, honestly, what do I really want?
Yeah.
What would feel good to me? How do I want to feel in this relationship? What do I want to experience? It's like when I teach segment intending, it's like the two questions you always ask yourself is, what do I want to feel?
Yeah.
How do I want to feel?
Yep.
How? And what do I want to experience? So to sit with those two questions and dig deep and ask yourself, and what beliefs do you hold that's holding you apart from those things?
Yes.
If this is my ideal,
right?
What I want to feel and what do I want to experience in this partnership? What do we do when we're looking at that sheet of paper? Now we wrote down all those wonderful things and we're not it yet.
Well, and I call that the soul vision, that process. It's out, we do the same thing as so many of us do, right? That's your soul aligned vision. And I think we get caught up so much in like the ego goals, or what I call them. Like, it has to look a certain way, or he has to look a certain way, or he has to have a certain job, or my job needs to be this, or my, all of those. We do all the outer things that really don't matter, and we get caught up, and that's where we go wrong. And just like you said, is that, how do I want to feel? What are the things that I want to experience and feel, and allow yourself to be sitting in that feeling, even if you've never felt it in your life? I think that's where a coach can really come in helpful, because if you've never really experienced what you want to be experiencing, having someone to talk to and share in that regard, to help you visualize it and hold the space for you where it is that you're wanting to go, is so imperative. That's the value of working with someone, a coach, a mentor, a guide, a spiritual director, to be able to help you hold the space for that. Because it is, I mean, we sit here and talk like, oh, that's so easy, but it can be difficult, or, it's like a new experience for some people, right? Yeah.
Well, I was just, thinking most of the time we do need those. I mean, even Sandy and I hire coaches because we have places we want to go, and we have to learn how to become that person who can create that,
right?
That goal, who can create that and allow that into our experience. So, that's what coaching does. Because if you could have done it on your own, wouldn't you have already done it?
Exactly.
I ask myself that when I'm considering a coach.
Right.
I have set a goal, or I've set something that I want to accomplish. And then I look at myself and go, well, you haven't done it. So maybe it's time to hire a coach again. There's something blocking you that I'm not seeing, or there's some new alignment that I need that it would be beneficial. So coaching does that.
Yep.
Because we ask you, where's your ideal? Where do you want to be? That thing over there, or that partnership over there, or whatever it is that you're focused on. Because it's actually who you're becoming to get there. You're not going to be the same person that when you start with coaching. You're going to be a different person when you get done. And you're going to be the person who now has all the tools and all the attributes open and flowing
Right.
that will lead you into what you want.
And the shifts for, like, most of the coaching that I've received and that I give are these subtle inner shifts. It's almost, I mean, I know in the most recent program that I was in with you, it felt like, oh gosh, what's really happening? It's the doing becomes less and the being is what comes to the forefront. And who are you being? Because when you're doing, you're on the hamster wheel and the treadmill, and it feels hard, and there's effort, and you got to try, and nobody likes that, or I don't like that, right? you know and when you just become it, and you be it as being the love luminary, and you're shining your light, and you're discovering who you are, and what your gifts are to share with the world, what you want to feel with your intentions, then it just, you go into that more ease and effortless flow. Maybe not, you still maybe have to take some actions, but you are no longer fighting the river. You're no longer paddling upstream. Oh my gosh, it's so hard.
Right.
You've gone into the flow of the river, and allowing, when you think about a river, that flow of it, that's the universe supporting you. That's everything supporting you when you find where that flow is. And that's wherever, when you hear people wanting to be in the flow, that is it's what they're wanting. It's not as hard. It's not as, you don't have to try so hard and put quite so much effort into it. A little bit, and then you're reaching your destination. But the beauty is the journey.
Right.
Yeah. All part of the journey.
I like the analogy of the stream, because that's exactly, when we're paddling upstream as hard as we can, it's just hard work.
It is hard work. Yes, it is.
It's that alignment when we allow ourselves to be that love luminary, when we love ourselves enough to care about how we feel. So we start paying attention to how we're feeling, which lets us know what direction we've been thinking. Have we been thinking on, I'm so lonely, I want a love partner, I want a spiritual partner, but you're noticing the lack of the person?
Yes.
Instead of valuing what you really want. There's two different energies. And then you go, I want this, but I can't have it. I want this, but I can't find them. I want this, but so it's like shrink your butt, and like you want this, and you want it to be fun and joyful and easy and pleasurable, but we also have to become that person.
Yes.
I mean, I love how you talk about, sacred journeys, that it's, speak to us a little bit about that even.
Yeah, well, so, myself at one time, and so many of my clients, we have such a negative self-talk, that going on in our head. Like, look at this divorce, what that look what he did to me, look what I did, look what didn't go right, will it ever work out for me? Or you find love and it's taken away from you, and through death or loss or something like that. And it's all those stories that we tell ourselves, which we're human, and that's still the human condition, to want to go into those heavier energies of feeling sorry for ourselves, or at being hard and effortful. We're all kind of, by being human, designed to start there. And that's normal and natural to think about that. What I like to help my clients, is honoring all of those journeys. Like, every difficult thing that I've ever gone through in my life there's been a reason for that. I may not have known it going through it. Certainly didn't on some of those. It made absolutely no sense, where you question everything about your life, and you're mad at God, and all sorts of things, like, what the heck? But if you still surrender it and have faith and trust in the journey, you may not like it. It may not feel good. You still got to feel your feelings. You still got to feel your sadness and your pain and your heartache and your heartbreak. You still feel it. yet knowing that there's the other side of that, that's what it is. And I don't believe any of us can get to the other side of that all by ourselves. I really don't. We have to have friends, like I said, friends, coaches, mentors, someone who can help usher us as a collective through to the other side. And it's the biggest act of power and courage that we can take to reach out for help in that way. It really is. Our instincts will want to say, no, I'm going to go within. I'm going to do it myself. I don't want anybody to know.
Right.
And
I think it's that more so than anything. I don't want anybody to know.
right.
Because we can be very private people and we think, oh, that's a failure, or that's you know, that's a weakness that I need to ask for help. And we don't give ourselves permission.
We don't.
Yeah.
I think the most courageous souls come into this world and sign up for more difficulties.
Yes, I do too.
Because they want to learn and grow. So in my opinion, you know, when I work with a client and they've had a lot going on, I think to myself, wow, look how incredibly powerful she is and courageous she is to work on all these things in this lifetime. I'm in awe of it, right? I really am in awe of the courage and the power that some souls really choose to do. And so, you know, if you've been to the depths, I just think that's like tree roots, right? The deeper the roots and the depths of that, the higher you're able to fly as well.
Because I feel like we, you know, when we go through things that feel bad, again, that's putting more desire in our heart to learn and expand. And so that's what our inner being has already grown into.
Yes.
And until we catch up, it feels really bad. That's that discord we feel when we're back here, but we shot all those rockets of desire forward. Our inner being became that immediately and is holding that place for us to catch up.
Wow. I love that. Wow.
When we can actually catch up and align with who we are, then we'll see the value of what we just went through.
Yes.
We can gain the appreciation and see those silver linings and what it taught us or what it made us desire. Because every desire is an expansion of who we are. So we just have to catch up in the physical to who we've already become in the spiritual.
I love that. So we're already there, is what you're saying, right?
There. It's done. We just have to catch up.
Drag our physical, you know, our dense, heavy physical bodies, you know, to that next space. But boy, yeah, that's wonderful. So that's like the marker on the journey, right? That is that next marker that we've thrown out there, and we know where we're going. We just need to allow it and take some action steps to get there. Yeah.
And the other thing is, when you're aligned with who you are, when you can sit in meditation or be quiet and hear from your inner being, that's when we get new thoughts, new ideas, inspiration. We hear from our inner being. We get ideas. We get, you know, downloads. We get inspired action to take.
Yes.
We have an impulse to go here, do this. But we're being first.
Yes.
We have to be first before we get the instructions for the next step. It's not that we're going to know all the details of the outcome or the big picture. We just know how we want to feel and what we want to experience.
It's beautiful.
Come back to that all the time.
Yes. So
in our alignment with who we really are, we're noticing how we feel. And we're focusing, we're selfish enough to care about how we feel. So we start choosing our thoughts deliberately.
Yes.
I am love. I am joy. I am freedom. I am abundance. I am peace. Whatever those affirmations are that you'll start feeling, I am worthy. I am deserving. It's not that those are nice attributes. It's who you are.
It's true. Whether you believe it or not, it is absolutely true. So ask your mind to just shift into the willingness to be shown how true that is, and the universe will show up and show you how beautiful and amazing and awesome you are. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And watch for the signs.
Yes.
Start looking at what's going right.
Yes.
This may have fallen apart and it was hurtful, but what came out of it? It fine-tuned what you want. So now start watching.
Right.
Bless that relationship. Bless those events that happened that were hurtful, because they helped fine-tune what you really want. And that's where we have to focus, because that's who our inner being has already become. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
I love those signs and synchronicities that you've mentioned, Marianne, because when those start showing up in your life, that's what I always say. It's like you've got it now, and the universe is giving you those to say, this is my communication with you. We're here, we've got your back, and we're showing you right now how much we have your back. How it is an alignment. It might be a number that matches. It might be a the living in the same hometown, right? Those types of things. Watch for those synchronicities, which I call God winks, and you call them
coincidences that are cooperative incidents. They're cooperative, inspired, actions or things that we see out there that confirm signs that are from the universe. And it might be that you run into somebody or an animal, or I get a lot of animals. I get a lot of, I'll look up what the spiritual lesson is from that animal. And it's always in alignment with something I'm learning right then.
Yes, I did that with a friend just last night, and it definitely was. Well, and we had a bee out on our deck, and the bee had not shown up. We've been sitting outside on our deck for ages, and the whole spring, summer. It's been crazy cool here, and the bee showed up, and the bee is all about pollinating and family and community. And getting busy, doing the work. So the rest is over. Right. Getting back into action now. Yes. Yeah.
And it also, know too that signs will come according to what you've agreed to watch for. Because some signs come to me through my oracle cards, because I've agreed that my inner being can speak to me through those oracle cards. Sometimes it's animals. Sometimes it's a consecutive running number, or even a
songs.
I'm sorry, what?
I get a lot of songs from maybe not my own work, but some of the souls that have passed over, who've died and transitioned over. For me, they tend to send a lot of songs and things like that. And animals, I've got a lot of people that depending on what it is you're asking about. Yes. Yeah.
And even when I sit in meditation afterwards, after I've quieted my mind, I have all these little journals that I keep. And I just sit and listen. Like, I'll ask a question if I want to know something about something. And then I just sit and listen, and words just start pouring out. So, I write them down.
Yeah.
I know they're not from me, because so many times I'm surprised when I go back and read them.
Yes.
So I know that our inner being is there to support us if we'll just close it down and open this.
Right. Get off the treadmill of doing.
Yes.
Just
stop.
Take the pause, take that pause, take this, I think that's the gift of this time of whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it the Great Awakening. Like global permission to just pause and reevaluate. And it's almost like you said earlier, letting everything catch up to where we're going.
Yes.
Right. I know that might be hard for some people to understand, but we're really catching up to where we're going. Like all of us are catching up. to that. And we all need to kind of go within and reevaluate and think and go back to our homes and our families and ourselves and our own space. It's really critical to be able to do that and notice and observe what's going on within us.
Right. And what's important, what's really important to it, what's not just superficial,
Right.
but pare it down to your core values.
Yes.
What do you value at the core of who you are?
Yes.
And kind of go back to those basics.
Yes.
And then fill it in from there.
Yeah. And that's step one of my, spiritual partnership program, right?
Awesome.
Core values. Who are you? What do you want? And then what do you want the relationship to look and feel like? And there's actually real requirements that when we look at it, that might call them non-negotiables. You might call them requirements. You might call them, the list. Some people do. It's not, that he has to be 6 foot tall and brown hair. That's not what it is. It's that, he has to understand my heart and nurture my soul and be present and enjoy my family and enjoy my quirks.
Yes.
And, those experiences together, we're sharing our gifts with the world. Together, we're putting good things out into the world.
I love that.
It's a different kind of list. It is as important, it's a practical piece, but you do the practical along with that, esoteric visioning and how we're going to feel. And you marry those two together, and that's where all the power is the, the right and the left side of the brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, our desires, it's coming from our internal being. It's, we came here to manifest. We came here to live in a physical world. We're not some, we own all day,
Right.
and we're, some hermit someplace. We're living in life. We're living in contrast. We're bumping up against things we don't like. And so we immediately know what we would prefer. Oh, that person wasn't very kind to me. I would like more kindness. Or whatever. We always know immediately. As soon as we see a problem or have a question, the answer or the solution is immediately created. We have to tap in there.
Yeah. And our desires are placed there for a reason, and you get to have needs, and you get to have desires, and you get to have wishes, and you get to own them. You may not, and you get to ask for them. You may not get all of them given to you by your partner or something like that, but you get to have them, and you get to own them, and you get to ask for them. Right. That was like such a powerful awakening for me when I realized that. And so for so many of my clients, I don't know where in, the growing up of, maybe just the feminine that we negated our needs. And, I think it's the helpers and the healers of the world, of which I work with a lot. They're so focused on taking care of everybody else that they forget, myself included, about myself.
Yes.
So yeah, again, maybe not everybody in the world, but if you're a helper or a healer kind of archetype, or you resonate with those words, you more than everybody, or peacemakers, the peacemakers as well, you got to focus on yourself. You got to start here.
Yeah, I so agree. And I am one of those ones who I can be such a worker bee, and then I forget, lay my head on the pillow at night and went, oh, what did I do for me today?
Yes.
I really have to be mindful to take a few minutes here or there, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, so that I can take care of me.
Yes.
Because if there ain't me, nothing else is happening.
Exactly.
Nothing to give. It's that saying about you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You have to fill up, refresh, rejuvenate, fill yourself up with that love and joy.
Yes.
There's something that energy, that aura is going before you, and you'll make so much more improved impact to those around you, because your greatest gift is your happiness. That
it
is
really
your
is.
gift.
Yes, because then as you glow and you become the love luminary, you are able to shine and light other candles, right? And
Absolutely. And
boy,
it doesn't detract from yours.
it does not.
Yeah.
No. And as Marianne Williamson tells us, it's our greatest fear, right? It's not that we're inadequate, it's that we're more powerful than we know. And it is a weird thing to think about that, to really let your light shine, to go for it, to be who you are in the world, and trust that's your mission, right? That it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's, I was raised where it really wasn't. I agree with you talking about, we've kind of squelched that feminine, because we're that feminine receiving.
Yes.
Asking for, standing up and asking for what we want. Because I find that even today,
Yep.
I was trained to be quiet, take care of other people's needs. You're on the back burner. You are the last one. And it's like, no, wait, if I'm not full, I have nothing to give.
Right. Yes.
So it is still a learning process for me to allow myself to ask for something I want.
Yes. Right. And all the work I've noticed is within. It's giving myself permission to do it, saying I'm not a bad person for it. When we can own it and we can just simply ask, then there's no hidden agenda by it. No, nothing like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get it, so I have to force it to happen. All of that energy is gone. And it's just like, it's just a request, and people can say no to requests. That's but more often than not, when it's asked for, people say yes to those requests.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've noticed that when, over the years, especially when I had created such sickness in my body and stuff, it was so much that I would not ask, and I wanted something and I wouldn't ask for it. And so I just let it stew, and I got irritated and I got resentful, and so I created this horribly sick body.
Wow.
My body couldn't tolerate that negative energy for so many years. And it wasn't until, I really felt well-being until I started, again, that paying attention to what I was doing by how it was feeling. And so the more I made choices, does this feel better or does this feel better? And then when I compared the two, does it feel better to keep my mouth shut and not ask for what I want? Or does it feel better to freely ask? And whether it's, given to me or not, then I it'll come a different way.
Yes.
But
using your voice,
not holding that with resentment and creating my sickness.
Yes.
Because I'm in better health now at 61 than I ever was up through my 30s and into my 40s even. So that altered completely when I started changing my mindset and realizing I had control of my thoughts.
Yes.
And I want to feel good. Choosing feeling good over this feels like shit.
Yes. And to add to that, it is the mental, and it's what we've grown up with. It also shows up. One of the things that I do is I'm, working with the energetic body. And it also shows up in your chakras, right? So if we're not speaking our truth and asking and, just not, like you said, it was all in there, that creates a closed throat chakra. And if you're not even owning it, that you have needs and wants and desires, that creates a closed solar plexus, which is your stomach, which is the seat of your desires and all of that. So it can show up in different ways. And, I not to delve deep into that, but if, the chakra balancing, it shows up energetically, it shows up physically, it shows up in so many ways. We can't hide those things that are going on. Right. You really can't hide them. You might hide them from yourself, but when you start asking and opening up, all of those, blockages are kind of shown.
You know what, Sandy, you talked about, not speaking up, and the throat chakra is about communication, is about speaking, owning that speech. And you know what, as a young person, I actually created thyroid disease.
Wow.
And I had created, even I was 22 and I had a cold hard nodule in my thyroid. So I had thyroid surgery. And then later I didn't understand how to get better at asking and why I had created. I didn't know back then why I had created it. Didn't know I had created it. And then after my second son was born, I had Graves' disease because I was still pushing down my desires and holding myself in such resistance. And it's just everything that I've experienced physically, the illnesses, the disease, the autoimmune diseases, the migraines, they're all like gone.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
I changed. I decided it's time to support me.
Yeah. You're and we all have grown up in this society that teaches us that we're supposed to be a certain way that actually is unhealthy for our souls. Absolutely. Right? And we don't know any better for a while. We're just doing what we've been taught. So there's no judgment against it. But when we know there's an answer and we know that it isn't, that there's like easier answers and that they feel good and they feel empowering and they feel soul opening, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, like all those things can be healed, I believe, as well.
Absolutely. I love Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. I use that a lot for references because in the back of her book, in that particular book, she has like you can look up the body part or a disease or and what it means in the body energetically. And then the emotional, problematic emotional thoughts.
Yes.
That probably created that. And every time I looked up something that I used to have, that I've healed through and received my well-being, it's like, yep, I did that. Yep, I used to do that. And I had that disease and I had this. And, so it's just...
It is right. I mean, and I've done it. I've had a couple issues myself with my clients as well, and sometimes it's like, oh, really? Do I really want to like heal here? Like, what part of that is true, right? What part of that difficult emotion am I not, like give yourself permission in a safe and sacred space to feel those feelings and emotions once and for all and release it energetically from your body. It's such a powerful release, and why not do that in addition to the other things that you might want to do to heal any part of your body. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Louise Hay was very instrumental in my learning, and I've got another book, Inna Segal, I'm not remembering what the name of it is. Very, very similar. And there's healing practices that I use with each thing. Like, it could be, if you stub this finger, right, or this toe, what that, the right side, as opposed to the left side of your body, like every single thing, is related to that, an emotion and also an organ. My roots, I started out as massage therapy and the energy healing part of that, I still do. And, so the clients that do come to my retreats here in my home or on the Osage River, or when we travel again to Costa Rica, we will have, one-on-one with me. I do the own energy healing, but on the retreats, I will definitely have top level healers and therapists to come in, because all of the work, as we're working on that, to be able to get the body work and the release also from that is very, very powerful, especially if you're a healer or a peacemaker. Maybe not all types, but I think probably a lot of the people that might be listening to this program anyway are healers and peacemakers and the helpers and the light workers of the world. And, we need that energetic work. We need the body work. We need to, share and give and receive from each other. It's really important to do that.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So you have something that you were going to offer the audience. You have a love breakthrough session?
Yes, my love breakthrough session. So, if you're questioning, struggling at all, either in a marriage that's should I stay or should I go, not feeling fulfilled, if you're single and searching and you've been dating a lot of people, if you're and not, not having any luck, or if you're even just, you're newly dating someone and you're wondering, is he the one? Anywhere in that journey, that's really my sweet spot. I'm offering a 20-minute love breakthrough session. Just it's private, just you and I. We can either do it on Zoom, we can do it on the telephone. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what's going on with you, what some of your dreams and your goals are, what your intentions are, as Marianne and I talked about. What would you like to create? What would you like to feel in your relationships? And get a little clarity on that. And then if you're inspired after that call, I'm also giving $50 off my Love Attraction Factor, which is the first step with me. It's energetically understanding where you are on how, like, if you were to go out right now, how successful you're going to be attracting the love that you want with your energetics. So it kind of goes into your thoughts, beliefs, and your attitudes. And then I do an energy balancing and clearing, kind of an evaluation energetically and mentally. It's both of those things to kind of find out where you are on your journey. Because, if you know where you are and you know where you want to be, then that makes it so much easier instead of like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, you have a basis for where to even begin.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you don't take some kind of an assessment or do something like that, you really, you don't even know where to start. And I think that's what's so confusing is when we try to do this on our own.
Yes.
We don't really know where we are.
Correct.
So we don't know where to get started. So that helps us. And then we go, like you said, you find your clients beating their head against the wall.
Yes, exactly. Repeating the same things over and over again. Right. And, there is, there's lots of help out there. Find, as you always say, Marianne, find the coach that resonates with you, find the one that can hold the space, that speaks your language, and, just ease into it and develop, even the coaching relationship is a spiritual partnership. Right.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly.
Yes. Right.
The words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, because nobody's more powerful or less powerful than anyone else. It's literally walking coach side by side. And as we can work, side by side with a coach is going to help you learn to walk side by side with yourself. Really the side by side, the footsteps thing, side by side. And, for a while, you might need to be carried or you might need to carry someone else, but soon you'll be able to just, you really be able to walk side by side. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Because I like to talk about that. Coaching is like arm in arm, you're there through the thick and thin, through whatever it takes to get you to where you want to be.
Right.
So that's such a good opportunity. So
and the connection is just, I find even on, obviously it's great when we can come in person. That's probably not an option for a little while longer, but, the Zoom now and even the phone calls, like, we are craving more than ever that connection and that care. And, it's more important now than ever. Our tendency will be to still shrink within. I encourage everybody to fight that, because that's resistance, and just, at least reach out, at least ask questions, at least, explore the possibilities. Now more than ever is a really powerful time astrologically, with yesterday being August 8th. Really powerful time this month of August, that the whole universe is supporting you to create what you want. So if you take any kind of actions or phone calls or reaching out or exploring online right now, you've got even more power to make it happen, not just of your own will.
Wow. Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, I think this is just the absolute. That's why I'm so thankful you were, able to come this morning, because these partnerships are this energy. Oh, what I was going to say, when Sandy's doing a program with you, or even coaching, or this call, energy knows no bounds, spirit knows no bounds. So no matter where you are, any kind of energy work is right there with you.
Yes.
No matter if she's in, St. Louis, West St. Louis County, and you're in Timbuktu somewhere.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The energy work is still available. It's still vibrant. It's still alive. It's still calling life force through you.
Mm-hmm.
So that energetic life force can come through and heal and create that well-being that you deserve and that you are.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. It's the allowing. It's getting out of the way.
Exactly. And if you're a healer or a helper, or you're an entrepreneur trying to build a business, it has those benefits too, because as we said, you cannot serve from an empty cup. So find who can fill your cup as you're filling others' cups. And that's the beautiful, collaboration that we all have. We all fill each other's cups to be able to serve the greater good more.
Right.
Yes.
And always know that your inner being is there to, refresh and fill your cup up.
Yes.
But we live in a physical world. We're here because we're supposed to be interactive with one another. So, we like that connection with humans and experiences. But know that that connection, that validation, that love, it always comes from inside first.
Mm-hmm. And once you find that, you can never lose it. And that's like the biggest gift, is when you do know that. You might be alone, you might feel sad, you might feel down, but that disconnection, I hope, never goes away, right? I mean, I guess I'm not to the end of my life yet, but I like to think that anything that happens, once you have that connection, once you know what you can't unknow it, right? And so once you have that connection, I don't know, it'd be pretty hard to disconnect that for me.
Well, and I don't think there's ever a true separation or disconnect. Right. It's just that we push it down or we cover it up with.
Right. We think it's not true, right? We're not aware that it's there. And then once
right. That's telling us that we're not worthy, that it's not there, that we're all alone to deal with strangers, whatever it is.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And then once you know it and you feel it 100%, like you can't unsee something, you can't unknow something, right? And when you know it to be true for yourself, then you have that, right?
Absolutely.
You really do have that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Because again, you've caught up with who you've become, and then you are in a new perspective to have a new desire that's further ahead. Yes. So it's that sacred journey she was talking about. Yes. We're growing, we're constantly expanding, we're constantly growing and creating new and more, because the mantra of the universe is more.
Yeah.
It is always calling for more, for bigger, expanded.
More. So on to the next adventure, right?
That's right.
Only my next adventure. Yes, I love it.
So before we go into announcement for next week, do you have any last loving words you would like to share?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Marianne, for your time. Thank you for everyone who has, stayed with us and listened in on this. You have everything you need. I love you. And if I can help or assist in any way of you understanding the sacred love journey that you're on and helping you create the love luminary that you are and that spiritual partnership, I've put my love breakthrough session in the notes, and you can also find me at sandytomey.com. All the information is there. I also have a Facebook page that you can also find from my website, Sandy, Sandy, Tomey, Tomey.com. And I look forward to hearing your story and seeing who you are. Yes. And thank you, Marianne, for this gift that you are and the work that you do in the world and providing this platform. You're really doing your soul's mission, and it's beautiful to be a part of it. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Sandy, I thank you for taking your time on a Sunday morning and being live with us. We could record this, y'all, ahead of time, but it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same to me. I like the live aspect of it. And sometime when it turns into a podcast or something, it may have to have a few recordings ahead of time. But right now I'm just having too much fun to talk to my spiritual partners.
Yes.
In person. So our next Coffee and Convo live will be in 2 weeks, August 23rd at 10 a.m., of course, Central. Our guest will be Meredith Vish, and she is the founder of Pause Box. Remember, I opened that Pause Box for y'all the other day, and we looked at all the beautiful cards she had, and these are her altar cards. Anyway, she's coming to talk to us about pause, which we kind of talked about here, taking a pause and remembering who we really are and connecting and aligning. So Meredith will be joining us then, and so that we can understand intentional pauses instead of when we end up just crashing and have to take a pause. We actually intend them, we plan them, we make them a daily ritual of some sort, and they will look different for everyone. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I know some of you have asked about donating to our work, and the link is right there. It's at mariannepack.com/donate. And we appreciate everything that you do as you give from your abundance. So thank you again, Sandy. I love you, and I love that everyone will get so much benefit from this, the impact that you are making for singles and for people wanting to manifest their spiritual partnership. So I thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you.
Oh, same. Likewise, Marianne. Blessings to you. Blessings to everyone. And can't wait to do this again. You guys are going to love Meredith. I love her. That's a great one next week. Yes. 2 weeks. Yes.
In 2 weeks, August 23rd. So I will give you more information later on that next Coffee and Convo live. I love you all.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you.